in tomorrow's world. So, here's the old mindset versus the Jericho mindset. The old mindset was very much connections to the secure network. You terminate your VPN at your VPN concentrator at your border. Absolutely not. Connection straight to secure resources should be your new mindset. Connection level authentication, absolutely not. Protocol level authentication. We have to allow devices to talk inherently secure protocols from device to device, even from application to application. So it has no reliance whatsoever on the network or the intermediate steps that you might want to go through. Authentication to access the secure network, well, does the secure network really exist anymore? Might in a few strange government circles, but not really. It's authentication to access individual secure resources. And secure tunnels from device to network connection point. Absolutely not, it's secure protocols from device directly to secure resources. It's not that different. It's just you have to change the mindset slightly. So how do we architect? Jericho is busy doing a bunch of work around what we're calling collaboration-oriented architectures, COA. Look it up on Wikipedia. It's the concept of architecting security for the extended business boundary. It's not a solution. The problem is that the security industry and the vendors out there, have you noticed how they conditioned us over 20 years of coming in and saying, you've got a problem. Oh, by the way, guess what? I've got the solution. So certainly when we started this game 3-4 years ago, we were going and talking at conferences like this and saying, we have got a problem. The solutions we need don't exist. Everyone's going, I can't cope with that. Because my own mindset over 20 years as a security professional is being told I've got a problem. Oh, by the way, pay me some money and I'll give you a solution. And Jericho was wandering around saying, look, we as an industry have got a problem. Actually, we don't have a solution yet. And what we want to do is get everyone to collaborate on what the solution should be. So it's not a solution, but it is a blueprint, if you like. It's about reducing complexity. If you make security simple, it works better. One of those funny things out there, that actually complex security doesn't work. Security really works when you can boil it down to really simple concepts. Because, excluding this room, 99% of your staff within your organization won't take complex security solutions on board. You have to give it to your staff really simply for them to understand what you want them to do from a security point of view. A lot of what we talk about as security professionals goes so way over their heads. And even when you think you've got it really simple, try it out on your 13-year-olds and see if they understand it, and they'll say, Dad, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. So you simplify it some more. You've got to get the messages really simple. Security works when it's simple. It doesn't work when it's complex. Go through American immigration at the moment, which is a real joke. I mean, terrorist threat, global terrorist threat. So what are we going to do? We're going to beef up the border. On the grounds that you only ever, if you're a terrorist, you're only ever going to come in through the legal channels. Stands to reason, doesn't it? So we beef up the border, and now, of course, when you walk in, what are you expected to do? Well, it's a photograph and it's your 2 index fingers. As if that's going to make a difference. But he doesn't have had delays to come into America. We've got to have business flexibility, we've got to have increased security, we've got to have multi-vendor outsourcing. This has got to work. If this doesn't work, if you talk to our friends at Microsoft, Microsoft will tell you we are doing deperimeterization very openly. At the highest level in Redmond, they are talking to the Jericho Forum and they say, look, we're doing this stuff. And Jericho's answer is, yes, you're doing this stuff, fantastic. The trouble is, it's a Microsoft-only solution. It works when you are pervasively 100% Microsoft. And the problem is that means it's not open, and it doesn't work into all these other organizations. My industry, where is all the neat chemistry being done at the moment? It's in some of the leading universities in the world. Do I really want to put pre-patent information into a university environment? Let's think about this. But we have to, it's a business requirement. Are they going to be running Microsoft? Probably not. They're going to be running Linux, they're going to be running Sun, they're going to be running goodness knows what. You name it, they'll probably have it and be running it. I can't guarantee or mandate they're going to be running the latest version of Microsoft. This has to work in an expansive world. So how do we get from where we are today? First, everything you do as a security professional should be with the assumption that you do not have a secure network. How many people? We're putting a brand new SAP system in at the moment. And our SAP developers have come to us and said, we need to move some files. We'd like you to open up the front-end firewall to, guess what? FTP. And we sort of go, silly boys. Let's talk about this, shall we? Username, password, all data sent in clear. Not a good idea. Our standard response for people asking us for FTP is to tell them they can't have FTP, they can have TFTP instead. Why? Because what's worse than actually sending your username and password in clear? It's actually embedding that username and password in the operating system code for the next 20 years and never changing it. In the false assumption that somehow it's providing some kind of security. So start protecting the data. Put your data over PGP or even AES encrypted WinZip or whatever, and then use TFTP to actually do the transmission. Better still, use SFTP. There are lots of alternatives, but for God's sake, don't use FTP. Because it provides some kind of false sense of security. Because I need a username and password, it's providing some kind of security. It isn't. Base all your technology and design assumptions on this revised paradigm. Start using deprotorized solutions today. So we have web protection for the entire corporation designed as a deprotorized solution. It will work just as well on my laptop in a hotel as it will on my laptop inside my corporation behind my semi-secure perimeter. If you design them properly for tomorrow, they will work just as well inside your secure perimeter today. And ultimately, what you have to do is talk to your developers, because it's their mindset you need to change. You need to get them to go to their vendors, their suppliers, and say, we're not accepting this unless this is secure. Because by the time it comes to you as the security professional, it's too late. They place the order, generally. So there are problems, obviously there are risks. Get it wrong, you expose the business. Absolutely. Benefits, you get increased levels, you get real security. The risk of not doing it, you add more and more layers, more band-aids, more sticking plasters into your network until you get to the point where you have to say the only way we're going to make this patient well again is actually take them back, take all that bandage and band-aids and everything else, and actually go and fix the root cause of what's actually causing the problem to this patient. You end up with simpler, less complex security. You end up with huge amounts of cost or an inability to manage, and if you do it properly, it's cheaper to run and easier to manage. You get a business advantage, and more importantly, you get this, you get flexible and adaptable solutions, which is what your business is expecting you to supply. As I said before, 3 options for you. You can resist it, you can let it happen to you, or you can leverage the change and maximum advantage. So, best practice, Some of the issues we still need to fix: pervasive authentication, and you need to authenticate people, systems, location, and companies. It's possible. My laptop, if I walk into a corporate office inside ICI, I lift the lid on the laptop and it connects on Wi-Fi. Nothing else. Lift the lid, type in the screensaver password, and it connects. Is it secure? Damn sure it's secure. Why? Because it's leveraging the user credentials and the machine credentials, and unless it has a valid pair, it won't fire up the tunnel. When they first showed it to me, I said, prove it. So they ran BBC Radio 2 streaming to my PC. And they went into Active Directory and they took the machine out of Active Directory. 3 seconds later, BBC Radio 2 stopped streaming. You can do a lot of this technology today, people just don't do it. Inherently secure systems, more importantly, inherently secure papers. There's a great Jericho paper on inherently secure protocols. I recommend you get it and read it. Background authentication at all stages. If you want to get your senior managers to hate you, get them to type in 16 passwords to access anything. You've got to do background authentication. It's got to happen transparently if the users are going to use it. Otherwise, what happens? They write those passwords and username down on little sticky yellow pieces of paper, which you can find underneath their keyboard. We all know it, because we've all seen it. Why? Because what we're giving them to do is too difficult. And in closing, ultimately, it's up to us, everybody in this room. If we don't start doing this stuff, it isn't going to happen in the timescales that the business, our businesses, need it. We have to stop designing and accepting insecure solutions. You have to design your systems to operate without a firewall. You might still want to run a firewall. Jericho was misquoted in the early days. Jericho wants to get rid of the firewall. Not true. Jericho wants to make large deep packet inspection and perimeter firewalls redundant. Absolutely. Do you still need a firewall? Do I need a personal firewall on my Windows? Well, it's a Windows PC, so absolutely I need a personal firewall on my corporate PC. Do I need a firewall in front of my SAP system? Absolutely. It might be connecting to the internal network, but I don't trust my internal network. So I have a firewall between my internal network and my SAP system. And that says you're allowed to talk the essential SAP protocols through to these devices. Nothing else should be talking. And yes, we're going to find all those strange processes that they put in that are suddenly talking to our business. You know, the LPR printing, the SMT, they came to us with a wonderful request. They said, our systems need to talk email, just to be able to send email. So we said, fine, okay, that's okay. Tell us which ones. No, all of them. You have to be kidding. Tell us which is, we don't know. So just assume all of them. I said, we're not going to just assume all of them. You're going to tell us which ones so that we can put those allowances into the firewall. Do you need a firewall at the front end of your crown jewels? Absolutely, in today's industry. Do you need them everywhere else in your organisation? Probably not. Demand secure and authenticated protocols. Demand open standards. So support collaboration. If you can't join us because your corporation won't let you, at least go and steal with pride everything off the Jericho Forum network. It's open, it's free, it's secure. Take it, use it within your organisations. And beware of interesting insecure solutions. So finally, if you want to take the bulk of this keynote and the pretty picture, it's again available free for you to take and use within your organisations on the Jericho Forum website. Web reference is there, and with that, I think we've got a couple of minutes for questions. Stunned into silence. NAC is an interesting short-term